schedule, and that's for the 2 years old, right? You just put them down somewhere, walk away, they're gonna be right there. Yeah, we did take her, we came out Thursday night, we were thinking one for every, and she came out there and
Several times. You know, it's
it looked
probably
like 2.5 hours. She was like, so we could.
summer, so got books for it.
Never wake up. No, never wake, never wakes up. Very ticklish.
No, I don't know. A lot of these guys, unfortunately,
Starts his break at
22, so I think.
number 6, and then Danielle, they don't have to pay a babysitter now. So money. That makes sense. Yeah, so that's. Should have my concrete floor done Saturday.
Years ago.
Saturday.
It's really.
Start cleaning. Started polishing and stuff. Oh, yeah, he's on like the 100 grit right now. He's done all the grinding.
All the, you know, and all the.
Down and up. Actually went to one little. Well, I sent him one. And about a positive day, it's about 100. Same layout. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Start polishing, David.
I hadn't got any.
Listen.
I was hoping to get Brian. No deal, Judge.
Ryan was just a bit in.
I'm gonna call.
It's your choice.
I got Texas.
And then sand that. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Well, they're looking. You know.
Well, they're-
I mean, eventually, you gotta know everything.
You know, Sam's layout. If you get up to like 2,000, there's like a mirror. Yeah, and then they clean it. Yes, we broke a lot.
Class, thank you.
Scary, which they did though.
Nobody. Yeah, they wait.
Bill up in the store,
I listen to them.
doing all these checker outs.
Listen.
Offset sucker out. They said you got skirts. They had to-
I'm saying, I'm escaping that. I was playing 200.
But it's actually, but concrete.
Like that.
Concrete.
No, I got so heart attack 3 or 4 years. I got several days.
Work, I do.
It's actually
Except for this job, because I called.
Say that's all of
You know, you can get high gloss sign.
Said, "Hey, you send this through insurance. This has not been.
What it is, that just creates that friction.
I know I'm.
I've been to have radio off first.
But yeah, I don't want it to be like, like you see all the lights and it's just kind of.
Look, I said.
We've been trying.
You want to see some light, like basically like this, I mean, no more, that's like the most shiny I would ever go. Otherwise, you turn the lamp on, it's like the whole house is lit up.
So when I show up, Brian's right.
Well, it's because they're Missouri firm and they're just like, and I had another piece there, so I'm like, yeah, we tell it for me this. Right. And
Diane would know.
Did you get paid for?
No, hey, Brian, you did, you make a mail?
I did, I sent it to you, I think on.
Quote, I wouldn't be surprised if we
I have to, I was looking.
Pretty, but I can't.
Okay.
Okay.
I can submit that, which I want to talk to you, did you hear back?
I've heard.
I thought he signed it, he didn't sign it,
I haven't seen it.
gave me money, so we're good.
Okay, well, boom, all right.
Nothing else that scared him,
It's apparently, I was like, it's,
he's good.
that's what I like to hear.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. No, but
Stepped out.
maybe where they have the rats and you side.
Stepped out, made the offer.
I know, true.
Said a gripper, and then.
That is, that Bill. I seen you posted the other day.
I didn't have.
This is better, Bill.
Oh, I've got.
And it's Andy's.
Hey, Bill.
It's a screwed up mess.
Actually, I seen that.
That's all I said.
I was in there trying to get in there.
That's all, I ain't gonna elaborate, I just. I'll be-
I laugh at it. I laugh at it.
Yeah.
I went in there, 'cause I want to get.
Yeah.
I just drive in, walk up to the window. I don't
You
want
can't, you can't drive through, you gotta walk through.
I like it.
Ready?
Huh? Yeah, she took care of it.
Oh, my.
Fired you.
I did not fire you.
Good job. You're doing a good job.
Yeah.
I am well, sir. How about yourself?
All right, let's go ahead and get started this evening with the City of Centerton Planning Commission, April 16, 2024, with a roll call.
Tony Davis. Ed Lewis. John Sessoms. Gary Harris. Rose Langford. Evan Murphy. Kelly Engel.
He's skipping.
Brandon Swoboda. Jeff Safarth.
I'm here. All right, first thing on the agenda this evening is the approval of the minutes from 4/2 of 2024.
John, I motion to approve the minutes for 2/24.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Is there anyone that's opposed? All right, no admin approvals this time. Under old business, has been tabled is the PUD 2304, the Mod Lux Townhomes, which is proposed townhomes at 578 Womack. It is zoned A1, actually it changed, but 4.85 acres, 48 dwelling units. And I would entertain a motion to bring it back to the table.
John, I motion to bring forth PUD 2304.
Tony, a second.
Motion is second to bring it back to the table. Is anyone opposed? All right. Any updates? You want to share, or you want staff to give us what you added or changed?
Ron Holmeyer, civil engineering, 701 South Mount Olive, South Spring, Arkansas. The building plans have been revised to provide articulation on all four walls now. In addition to the alternating of the orientation of siding. On three sides, I guess. The addition of 16 on-street parking spaces have been provided. 20 foot by, well, they're 7 foot, I think it is, which is the exact conformance to the city's 23-foot street standard. So there are now 160 total parking spaces for these 48 units, which code states 2 units or 2 spaces per unit. Well over 50%, beyond 50% of them require. Those are the 2 major changes. Glad to answer any questions anyway.
Feel any additional things from staff?
Yeah, so those articulations that they added, we did double check. Those are 1 foot articulations, which is what our code calls for. So those articulations now meet the code requirement. As Ron said, they added 16 additional spaces throughout the site for visitors, which works out to 1 visitor parking space per 3 dwelling units. Staff does recommend that the buildings be adjusted so that there's a minimum of 5 feet between the visitor parking and the proposed buildings. Right now with the current design, there's anywhere between like 6 inches to 3 feet between the visitor parking and the proposed buildings. So if we shift the buildings in towards the side path, there can still be 5 feet between the side paths and the buildings and 15 feet between buildings, which fire said would be okay. And then at the northwest corner, there is 2 parking spaces right there that is very, very close to that building. So we could shift those buildings south to add a little bit more separation.
You good with those minor shifts?
That's fine.
Any comments or questions from any of the commissioners in regards to the additional 16 parking spaces that are being proposed? That'll also include a few of the minor changes, and then of course the articulation this time. I think we had some questions last time, and so the additional articulation in the buildings. If there are no questions or comments, then I would entertain a motion for the D 2304, the Mod Lux Townhomes, which is at 578 Womack Road, with the few minor changes agreed to this evening in regards to the minor changes in the building setbacks.
This is something we'll look at with the design, the 20-foot length on that parking. It's a little short for parallel parking when there's 3 in a row. You'll just take a look at that when you go design it. So I think there's only like 4 rows that actually have 3. So one of those might be elongated, so we have space to get in and out since it's parked on both sides.
And were you all satisfied with the additional parking and the way that they have it laid out?
Yes, I mean, it's. How many units per, how many parking per unit?
It's one space
One
per,
space per,
three dwelling
one
units.
space per three.
I think it'll be, I mean, in my mind, with the narrow streets, they are private streets. I don't think people are gonna be driving 80 and then all of a sudden try to
Yeah.
park. But I think I envision it being almost like a downtown area where people are, hopefully they're casually, passing through, and we'll find a parking spot to park. So, and I know the discussion last time was, is parallel acceptable? And we had said, yes, parallel would be an acceptable option. So I don't see people screaming through here to, to try to find parking. So hopefully they're all being a little more conscious of that. That's the way that I look at it.
Yeah. And were y'all, and you're saying that just based on the dimensions that these need to be adjusted just a little bit, and you're comfortable with making those adjustments?
Yeah, I go back to just see what typical is for a parallel, just 'cause 20 is a bit short if you have 3 in a row. With 1 and 2, it's easy to, swing in, you have that space to get more of that maneuver. If you have someone in the first spot and the third spot, 20 foot's real tight for parallel. It's usually just a touch longer. I think it's 22 or 24, I'd have to look.
I'm sure you can play with the angles. of-
Yeah, so I mean, it's just where there's bays of 3, which there's only 4 of those. What, increasing the length of those, so the middle space is longer.
Gotcha.
So something we'll look at in the development phase.
Yeah, we'll touch on that in the development plans.
If there's no other questions, or clarification, then I would entertain a motion for PUD 2304.
John, I motion to approve PUD 2304. With staff comments about adjusting buildings left and right to get that space in between.
That's Craig, I second.
Motion and a second. This was originally a public hearing, so Samantha, if you'll do a roll call vote for me, please.
Devin Murphy,
Yes.
Greg Langford,
Yes.
Jerry Harris,
Yes.
John Sessoms,
Yes.
Ben Lewis.
Yes.
Tony Davis.
Yes.
Brendan Swoboda,
Yes.
Jeff Sapar.
Yes. All right, thanks. Good luck. All right, next on the agenda under new business is track split 2402 Decker. Seba Road and the county parent track is 7.55 acres. Track 1, the request is 2.54, track 2, 2.5, and track 3, 2.5. How are you tonight?
Good yourself.
What are you guys requesting here?
Say it again.
What are you guys requesting?
So basically just splitting into 3 tracks. I know there's some controversy on the layout. I think we're getting the driveway situated for the surveyor. We've agreed to the 1 single driveway. He's already submitted that. I don't know if that was acknowledged or not, but
No, actually, we didn't know.
They haven't sent that to you.
So, okay.
he sent comments. I know Eric, you acknowledged that or said something about that and just said, see it here, I guess. So he'd already sent something over, and I think when you and I were on the phone or right when I hung up last Friday,
Oh.
and I was like, okay, no big deal. It's
Okay.
not the end of the world, but yeah, he's already sent that new survey with that,
Okay.
with 1 driveway right in the middle.
It was an issue of whether to have 3 driveways coming off of Seba Road. And where this property is where that sharp corner is. Heading east from Keller Road, and then you hit the sharp corner going north. His 8 acres is just right on the west side of Seba Road. And he was originally wanting to have a center stem lot to go to the back lot. And then access to the far left of, which is already adjacent to another drive, and then another drive on the corner piece. So those were my concerns, and then another drive on to the far right. But there were just concerns with that being, the curb being realigned, and when you come around there, I mean, it's just pretty tight for, this is a major arterial design. So we just wanted to work on limiting the access off of the road, and you'll see this come up. We've had several of these, and we always recommend limiting the access.
See, but that's a stop sign right there, isn't it?
No, just curve.
Yeah.
Can you go to the report page? 'Cause- Oh, there we go.
Where's that at?
The red dashed line is on our master street plan, but that's pretty wide curve. That's not how we are looking at redoing this curve on Seba Road, but right now it's just a sharp corner with, I mean, it's a 45 and with a little bit of a rutted in curve. So we've got that resolved, it looks like.
Yes.
And limiting the access will be good.
Yeah, so that's good there. The other,
Okay.
the other thing that was mentioned was that, I guess on that southeast corner was the right of way.
Follows that curve, and if you're
Correct.
dedicating that as an easement, that is part of it, and it's supposed to follow that line south. Do you know if he updated that?
No, he did not. And my question to you is, when this split was initially done a little over 3 years ago, it shows that exact same scenario. So why was it approved then? And even going back further into the master street plan, my next question is, if that road is going to shift further north, is that applicable?
All depends on when that road and that property develops to the south. Otherwise, it's still all that access easement and future right of way. If it stayed the way it is and becomes an intersection, it'd be that 50 foot and it wouldn't follow that. All of our right of way dedications come from the section line and would be parallel with that section line, not
Understand,
the center.
understand, but 3.5 years ago, whenever that was, it was okayed and approved. So I'm just curious why now it's.
I thought it was straight.
No, actually,
It was an intersection.
There was a lot of ones where they see this, where they're trying to dedicate off the center line of the road, and it's caused issues. So that's one thing that I've corrected when I came in, is that they now do show those dedications from the section line. Because if you dedicate from the center line of the road and it's, 5 feet off your off that section line, have you now dedicated really 55 feet? Or have you only dedicated 45 feet? And who would it be fair for?
sure.
And that's where, with these, the dedication has been forced since I've been here, that it comes off that section line.
Okay,
So that way it becomes a equitable burden on both property owners on both sides.
right.
And I would actually have to argue that that road, it actually continues on straight also. I mean, you have the curve, but you also have the straight to go into the drive of that other property.
But those two properties
Yeah.
south of you keep going
Mhm.
through all that.
Right. And I'm not here to argue about, that's not the case. It's just, that's my question, is like 3.5 years ago, same survey. And I know things change, but
Whoever reviewed it, did it from like the center of the road and the curve
mhm.
instead of.
It's cool in the big scheme of things. It's not worth it,
And this is a right-of-way easement since it's in the county. So it doesn't actually transfer to the city.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so that's resolved?
Yep, get that addressed.
Okay.
Is the riverine shown on the new plats? Did that get submitted?
So surveyor will not put that on there because he's a land surveyor, not a geographical surveyor. If I don't care to take that verbiage that was, I think Eric put in there. And if I tell him to put it in there, I think he'll put it in there, but going back to the survey 3.5 years ago, it's not on there. So my question is, why is it relevant now?
I feel like there should be some statement on the plat. If you can, we'll at least put the statement on there so that people can look into it.
Okay.
We've had other people where they built a barn and then they blame a subdivision for flooding their barn.
Right.
And then we look at the plat and we say, well, there's a stream channel going right where you built your barn.
Right.
And they're like, oh, we never knew that. So that's why we look at the USGS maps. And what they show on there, and we look for ponds and riverines and so
Right.
on. And one thing that I noticed is on your plat, if you bring that down just a little bit, it comes across right where right where it ends at track one.
Mhm.
So you're gonna have to deal with that. And so it's just letting whoever know that buys that there's a stream that goes
Sure.
across it. You're the one that's gonna be dealing with it.
Right, and that's where,
In this case, but
right.
that's not always the case. So that was why.
Understood. Understood. So I mean, I can give him that verbiage and have him throw it on, a note on there. It's not the end of the world. And part, when I was looking at these notes, like, he's a little aggressive, but it's okay. So,
Yeah.
I think that's everything. Is that right?
That was the only 3 items that I
That's what we
believe
have
that we
left.
needed to resolve.
Okay.
Well, we wanted to talk about the frontage on the stem lot.
We've already resolved that, yeah.
They're gonna share it.
They're going to do a shared access drive.
About the
No, because there's only 2 lots fronting.
It meets our requirement, doesn't meet the county one, but that's fine.
Because it's on our planning area.
Yeah.
So we're good.
Okay.
They don't need the one fronting.
that 40-foot.
No,
It's an
they're not doing
access.
it. That it's an access easement.
It shows as a
Okay,
No, that's the way it shows.
we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see what he's submitted. None of us have seen the new one that he sent today.
Okay.
We'll go over a lot of that, some of that verbiage, the cleaning them up.
So they agreed to
An update, the simple ones.
like there's a.
Okay.
All right, so those 3 things are resolved that we need to resolve. Are there any other questions or comments from any of the commissioners? If not, then I would entertain a motion for the Decker track split 2402.
We don't have great neighbors.
Greg, I'll make a motion to approve tax split 24-02 with the discussed comments tonight.
John, second.
Motion and a second. Is there anyone opposed? Thanks. All right, next on the agenda is subdivision 2340, the Soto subdivision. Preliminary plat and plans at 8525 and 8545 Bates Lane. It is zoned R3 single family. Just over 3 acres and 13 proposed single family dwelling units. Is the applicant here just to give us a quick overview?
Gavin Smith, 15371 Union Star Road in Westport. I'm the civil engineer for the project, here to represent my owner who couldn't make it tonight.
Okay. Eric, do you want to give us a staff overview then?
Yes, this is a 3.33 acre subdivision consisting of 13 single family homes. Under the zoning of R3SF, it'll have 1 detention pond. The density would amount to 3.9 units per acre. Located in a relatively remote place, in terms of residential development. But the closest we have right now are the up and coming Beaver Place, single family as well, which contains single family homes as well as commercial. And then you've got Shirley Estates and Edgewood Estates, both single family to the north, with Oakmont to the east. So we're looking at a water service hookup directly on Bates Lane on the east side of the road. The sewer connection will take place and it will be routed through an offsite, or it will be routed through the west of Huber Road. It's connection will be made about 1/3 of a mile north towards the east-south bend Huber Road. There is a existing 80-foot gas easement gas line easement. Going right through the middle of the parcel. It is owned by an energy transfer company, does not really service the area. But it is to be maintained, and we have received confirmation that the developer is working company to comply with the gas company guidelines. Drainage will be routed to a dry detention pond on tract A, located on the south side between lots 9 and 10. From the pond to the south. No flood areas or wetlands. On the west side of the subdivision would be a hammerhead turnaround. Be installed upon construction, and will be used as a future connection for a north-south street or going west. Right away is being dedicated along Bates Lane of about 25 feet. And as well as right of way being dedicated with the stub out on the west side, about 25 feet. The applicant has proposed a fee and lieu to path street improvements on both Base Lane and the future connection. And then there will be street trees along the interior street, as well as on Bates Lane and the future connection.
When you're good with the home improvement and the fee in lieu of, I mean, is it the right thing to do here or?
Yes, I mean, to do any kind of tie in here, it would be 3/4 mile of asphalt paving, with a frontage of 300 feet, something like that. Because it's so isolated, it's a dirt road from Tycoon down south end of Huber, that's kind of parallel to Shady Acres, to Bates, down through their property, and they're the second property down. So we'd have to do a lot of paving from there to make it worth it. If we pave in front of it, people are gonna be transitioning from gravel to asphalt to gravel, and this is gonna tear up that road. By the time anything else is done, we'll have to redo it anyway. Paving it doesn't make sense.
Can you show
The
that?
only thing would be they went way overpaved to do that run going all the way around.
Open that.
What's the street plate call for on that road?
Local, isn't it?
It's local, big like that.
The right of way of 50 feet, so they're dedicating half of it.
About Base Lane or what they're on.
Well, Heber's base is at residential, right?
Yeah, it's what.
Yeah, Bates is in Huber classified, so
It's a, yeah, with Heber stops.
Huber is way to the north and continues through. So even that bend for Huber is now. It will be any more than a paved 2 lane.
Are you good with the calculation of the payment of that? What kind of section are they? 8/3 or 3/8? Calculating now, that number seems a tad bit low.
It's not much frontage. What it was, I know I looked at.
It's in here. Was in the packet. It's not. I added it in there.
Street section? Yeah, it's C500. I'm not sure if it made it in there, or C50. But yeah, it's 3 inches of asphalt, over 8 inches of gravel, I think. And then we have 12 inches of improved soil, and then, calls out for, you can also use appropriate upgrade.
It's a really short frontage. That's a lot of it, I mean.
It's like 200 feet.
Plans on sale.
And we are just talking about half road from.
I can't quite hear what he's saying.
So it's think of it as half the road and a short section of maybe 200 feet that would be with the 8 inches of a base with 3 inches of asphalt, a little bit of improvements.
12 inches subgrade.
So that's how they got to the calculation, and here's the math right here. It's a short section and it's just half of the road.
Yeah.
This is one of those where, Alan's point, you'd be coming along and then all of a sudden you'd hit half asphalt and the other half gravel, and then all of a sudden you'd drop back off, which is the reason I asked the question, does this one make sense? And so then the question was just, does the calculation seem right? And so that's the math and everything for. Good with that math, Tony?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Are there any other questions or comments for, or from any of the commissioners? If not, then I would entertain a motion for subdivision 2314, which includes the preliminary plans and the adjacent street agreement.
This is John, I motion to approve subdivision 2314. Preliminary plans and a street agreement.
Motion in a second. Is anyone opposed? All right, thank you. Good luck.
Very much.
All right, nothing under other business, under announcements. Our next meeting is 5/7. If you can't be here, please let us know. Deck review on the 18th. Anything else from staff?
I'll just give you an update on Title 15. Garber has gone through what we've worked on so far and then made a list of all the comments we have left to address for research. So, and they expect a date for a final draft that May 7th. Yeah. So there's a few comments left, updates, and then I'm kind of keeping another little list of things to add, so it's like. As people call and ask questions, it's like, oh yeah, we should put that in there. So eventually, we're gonna get to it. I mean, we're making progress.
Okay. Anything else? All right. If nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Is anyone opposed? Thank you, guys.
Greg, I just read your shirt and I love it, by the way, because there's nothing more true. They're all red. One of those.
Everybody, I meant to tell you that, but everybody.
Yes, no, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, joke in and of itself.
Right, Joe, man.
Were they trying to?